is the Jace, and Keen looked good. Despite the fact that, you know, as usual, he's 1v9,
yeah,
that laning phase was pretty good for the Rise.
He looks good on pretty much anything.
That's true.
He could probably make Teemo work.
He even looks good when the defeat screen comes up, which is something that a lot of players struggle with, but Keen has been very consistent, much like Ruler this season. Just make a team where both of them are on it. Imagine that. Just good stuff. This is also a pretty decent draft, speaking of good stuff.
Jace, Rek'Sai, Zoe, Kai'Sa, and as the wheel is moving over there, Galio pops up. So obviously Zoe and Jace poke, not quite the Zoe Ezreal, but definitely in the same ballpark. That will be the late game transition with the Kai'Sa scaling to back it up. So Zoe is always going to be a pretty big question mark, whereas on the flip side for Jin Air Green Wings, Lucian and Alistar, they want to get ahead and have an explosive early game. Lissandra, J4, and Rise on the top half of the map. Definitely this team composition is a little bit weak against Griffin the longer that the game goes.
Yeah, does have scaling options in something like the Rise. We'll see whether the build is going to change a little bit, much like Deft showed us on the Lucian to give it a little bit more oomph. We saw Crit Lucian coming out with Essence Reaver being rushed, but let's find out now as we hop into Game 2. Jin Air faithful in full voice for potentially the last time here in the LCK Spring Split 2019, and maybe even for 2019 in general, unless things go well in the promotion tournament where they're inevitably going after this series. Doesn't look like they're going to stand too much of a chance as we move in, but we'll see. Can they actually put a dent into Griffin here in game number 2? Only time will tell.
Well, at the very start of the game, we're not going to see anything too aggressive going on, as it looks like Jin Air are content to just control all the entrances to their side of the map. And Root, though,
oh yeah,
he's going to pick himself up the ward.
Yep, takes the Relentless Pursuit level 1. Don't know whether that's necessarily worth it, but it is a way to guarantee that you can kill wards if you see them. Level 1 power not exactly going to be there for the Jin Air bottom lane, however, because that ability doesn't exactly do damage, unless you count the passive, which I don't.
Transcendence and Monoflow ban on the Rise up there.
Yeah, going for the airy Rise.
Yeah, sorry. Sword not going with the Scorch.
Yeah, sorry, no. The airy coming in for the Jace, not the Rise.
Level 2
Got a little bit
Jarvan.
confused as, yeah, okay, this is a pretty standard one. Seas will move on over, straight up. That's a drive-by. That's a drive-by. You saw nothing, guys. Seas just making his way through to grab himself the next Rift Scuttler. Scoodle River's going to go down in priority over the Zoe. God, that looked silly.
Yeah, that was definitely. I like how Chobi didn't even seem to blink. He just kept.
No, he just kept farming. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, you're out of here.
Yeah.
I already know you're embarrassed. You want to get off the stage as fast as possible.
He does as well. That is going to give Tarzan free reign here on the bottom side jungle of his opponent.
This stat makes me feel really bad right here. Root is 0 and 8 on Lucian, but I feel like he's one of the best Lucians in the LCK.
He's very, very good. Yeah.
Very sad to see. They're trying to crash the cannon wave right here, and this could end up being a pretty bad time.
That's a big taunt, a double knock-up, bouncy castle for the cow. Tarzan picks up turret aggro, and now they're after Root. This could be a real troublesome one. No flash available for Lehens. No teleports coming in or anything here for Jin Air to try and keep Root alive as he's looking to try and follow these minions down. Misses that cannon. I don't think he was actually in range of the experience of that one either, as yeah, that was a bit strange. Lehens just tanking random damage from the turret.
They might want to have gone again, but Lehens missing that HP, definitely not the best spot in the world, but it doesn't matter. They did the damage. They missed Root they made Root miss so much XP and gold. Viper could actually be canceled on this recall.
Yeah, it does actually make it home in the end as Tarzan was coming on over, but we don't land the knock-up. Speaking of which, Tarzan doesn't find his either as Grace gets just far enough with that claw. Very interesting claw as well as he popped it very, very early, but I actually thought that was really intelligent to avoid getting stunned out of it. Lahen's trying to hold a minion wave and is able to just as much his way to safety. As we have a look at this dive one more time, pretty nice stuff here.
Yeah.
That's why Griffin doesn't get Galio very often.
Very nice engage there by Lahen's. It was extremely easy to set up as well.
Yeah, that feels pretty cookie cutter. Like, it's pretty hard to mess that one up.
And Call now picked up for Viper on that Kai'Sa.
Oh, wow. Longest range auto attack ever.
And Chovy yet again completely destroying Grace here in the mid lane as against the Lissandra managed to get the initial recall off and return to a pretty good lane state. So Chovy has managed to circumvent the advantage that Lissandra normally presents herself with by utilizing the teleport.
Yep, actually not going to miss any of these minions. As you can see, Chovy made it to lane just in time. Really nicely done. Grace will be able to teleport back in. Does have himself a slight CS advantage, but I like how you illustrate it. Even though we can't necessarily see any evidence of an advantage, the fact that the non-teleport user, and this is an electrocute Zoe as well, it's not going to be that spellbook. So that is a huge win for Chovy in that mid lane. As you can see now, he's going to continue putting the pressure on. I think a large portion of the problem, though, is the fact that a Kai'Sa lane is bullying a Lucian lane. It's a direct result of how well that earlier dive went. Viper didn't get the kill, but he did get the cull, so it's fine. See, Seas is down here on the bottom side. Don't know whether he's actually going to be able to sneak through to find himself any ganks, but does have at least a way to flag and drag his way down. You can see does just go for the lane gank here. Hasn't been spotted just yet. No pings out, as you can see, from Griffin. We're getting the vision availability here. Winds of War come in. Lahen's finds out that there's no Jarvan in that particular brush, and now sees he's going to walk over vision and not actually be able to find anything on the bottom side.
And on the top half of the map right now, Ryze has a relatively small CS advantage. This is not what we would expect against the Jace. This is the 9.6 base that is slightly nerfed. Yep, Chovy doesn't actually get too much damage off on that bubble. Does have the redemption here. And right now I think that all that Griffin are content to do is allow everything to keep scaling up as Jin Air are not finding themselves the kind of advantages early on that one would expect them to have.
And also not finding any of the priority that they could potentially get, especially in this mid lane. Seas was unable to get himself any gank in the early game, as we saw with his drive-by flag and drag. I would have thought that he could have potentially gone for the flaggy flash with that particular play. The one that Clit is so incredibly good at, but Seas didn't decide to opt in for it.
Right now, as the game continues, I mean, Lucian and Ryze will have a wake-up at around 2 items. But then after that, everything's going to really start to go downhill for the Jin Air composition, and there's always still the big question mark of how do you beat Zoe later in the game.
And also, how do you prevent Zoe from getting an MVP? Because remember, the very first 80 carry MVP victory for a split of the LCK is potentially in the hands of Deft. He will be tied with Chovy at 1200. That is what Jin Air are fighting for. Can Deft claim that MVP?
They all just need to 5-man Chovy over and over and over. Just
no, if they do that, he has a chance to outplay and will then get the MVP.
That's true. So what do?
It involves a little bit more.
Run away from him?
No. You int into sword over and over again.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
And then everyone's like, oh, but he's so much better now.
Wow,
and then
so
picks
good
up the MVP
carries.
so easily. Yeah, that's how it works. Having said, I mean, Lahen's is doing pretty damn well so far this game. It was a cookie-cutter dive, but he executed it very, very well. We're able to take down Kellen. Just give them disadvantage that we can see on our screens right now. 1,000 gold approximately, I believe.
Tarzan picking up the Mountain Drake. If they can RNG a second one, that would be absolutely stellar for their ability to capture mountains later in the game. As well as if they could have gotten the first Rift Herald, but instead...
Well, Grace is going to take a claw. Doesn't actually use it. And he's going to get out safely. That was a very cute dodge of the Ardent Blaze there from Lahen's, but doesn't matter. He's going to get flashed on. Cull comes in. Lahen's flashes himself away. Heal came out there from Viper as well and does find the Void Seeker. Onto the back of the retreating Jin Air bottom lane. Seas gets the knock-up. Flash does come in there from Chovy. Seas gets on over.
Rises
okay,
here.
Tana, can you get in there? Flashes immediately to try and get on top of Chovy, but no joy there whatsoever. He got himself an artificial flash and got himself the hell out of there. Sword tries to steal away that blue buff, but he may have actually bitten off more than he can chew as Grace is in trouble. Flashes come out from everywhere as somehow Griffin are the ones picking up all of these kills. Chovy does die as Sword's looking for it. Doesn't quite find it. There is Tana, very low on mana. Sees in trouble as well, and now Tana, you're dead. I don't know why they dived for it again, but the Jace gets a double kill.
And that was a really big turn of events right there for Griffin. What looked like was going to start so well for Jin Air Green Wings just got turned on its head, and this seems to sort of be a thing that happens very often with Griffin. They get into these 2v2s and 3v3s and always manage to fight their way out of it. We're going to take a look at how the bottom lane sequence unfolded.
Walked into a brush without level 6 against 2 level 6 opponents, I guess.
It was quite impressive.
Yeah, that seems like a bad
how about this one right here? Seas actually manages to land the entire combo, and the reason that Grace doesn't push on is because Zoe has the cleanse available. But even still, you can see everyone is just on a different page. At this point, Grace should have been able to kill Chovy.
Wait,
opted out of it.
Did Tarzan literally flash on the spot to give Chovy a flash to get out? Did that actually just happen?
Well, right here, Seas manages to get onto Chovy, and then Agatha even helping Griffin out a little bit, hitting Seas. Tarzan wants to be a hero, comes over the wall, helps Sword take care of Seas, and then they pick up the kill there onto Tana.
I'm still trying to work out whether that was what happened, because Chovy had already flashed, and then Tarzan flashes for almost no reason. Chovy immediately picks it up and flashes to get out of the way of Tana, who did have enough damage to kill him.
Yeah.
Some next level play out of Tarzan there from the jungle, who was by far and away the MVP of that last skirmish. Has himself his warrior enchant. Cinderhulk is in for Seas, who is farming okay. Got himself a kill in that last skirmish as well, but it's all going the way of Griffin. See Lahen's sitting on 2 and 0 as we did see what happened to Kellen on the bottom side of the map also. Source going down here onto Grace. Tarzan taking his time before making his way in. Was expecting a potential counter gank to come down there as Preyseeker goes a little bit wide.
And meanwhile, across the map, Root has really recovered quite well in the CS department, despite all the hiccups that Root and Kellen have experienced down here in the bottom lane. Oh, okay.
That's pretty good steal. Get some cash money off that one. Tana does have himself a CS advantage here on the top side of the map, even though he's 0-1-0 in comparison to the 2-0-1 Chase. Viper going to get culled here as Lance needs to body block, does so. Just not enough damage in for the Lucian at this point in the game. You see Cullings get eaten by an 80 carry, you think, oh, they're dead. No, not this time.
Not this time around. Lucian still does not have the Blade of the Ruined King either.
Viper's very close to cashing in his cull. Okay, here's Seas. They do throw in the Glacial Tomb there as well as Chovy does get the redemption for the healing. Bit of extra movement speed, and we're not going to get enough out of the spike of the Jarvan. Every button lands, but it's not enough to kill the Zoe.
And in doing so, that is going to be a loss of major tempo now inside of the jungle and the mid lane. Chovy and Tarzan shoving it out together. That's a redemption. If Chovy could end up getting his hands on it.
Oh, another one.
Quite a nice pickup.
Well, that was what saved him in that last gank as well. Just not quite able to kill him quickly enough. And that heal comes in.
More trades.
Yeah, Viper actually going down relatively low. We have to remember that this is a Kai'Sa that hasn't got any evolutions just yet. So, isn't going to be in the greatest position, and Lucian is moving towards item number 1, which is going to be a big spike for him. Tarzan wanting to make his way down as once again they're fighting the cow, but Unbreakable Will is in there and it's eating up a lot of this damage. Doesn't seem to matter though, he's just getting CC'd and destroyed. Decides to move the other way just to make sure that Root can create as much distance as possible, and he'll once again get away, but the cow is not so lucky.
And Viper ends up picking up the kill there. Also, important to note, he already did complete his call as well. So that's going to be an extremely big Kaisa whenever
also,
Viper does recall. It looks like Griffin don't want to just give away this Herald her free, yeah.
Shelly going to wander her way back into her pit.
Mobility boots also on Lahens.
Yeah, he's a pretty fast gargoyle. Does also have the heroic entrance availability at this particular stage, so there was no way that Jin was going to be able to stick around without having Griffin all collapse on top of them. I want to go back to what this Griffin composition is, because I really like what they've put together here as far as the champion combinations. Because in this particular comp, you can use Galio for two different things, right? You can use that heroic entrance to engage, like we've seen in the past. You can dive turrets with it, things like that. Make sure that Jin not going to be able to get away, and having something like that AoE taunt is fantastic with getting that flash in over the top as well. But what this composition does very well is pokes. You know, you've got Empowered Shock Blast, you've got a Zoe who is just a poke machine, you've even got Prey Seeker in there and a Void Seeker from Viper, and that way you can use Lahens' ultimate as a disengage tool. Just throw it down on the member that's getting jumped on, and then they have to respect the fact that knockups can come out from everywhere. So a lot of different facets here for this Griffin composition. I do like having multiple avenues for victory.
And the Zoe in the later stages, that was the thing I was mentioning earlier on. It's going to be so difficult to play against her, as well as Jin Air. They're going to have a much higher reliance on their summoner spells than Griffin will in later stage teamfights.
It's basically Lahens that wants to have his flash available, right?
Yeah.
But otherwise, the rest of them are not too worried about it. And that's only if they want to play proactively.
Yeah. Jin Air Green Wings right now, even if they end up getting to their item spikes, Griffin are so accelerated across the board that they're going to be on even footing when they shouldn't be.
Well, right now, it's not looking like even footing at all. Feels like a 3,000 gold lead, and that's exactly what it is here for Griffin. They're looking to augment their Mountain Drake that they grabbed earlier with a Cloud Drake that has just spawned. They should be able to collect it pretty comfortably. Kellen and Root hanging around, sees, waiting in the wings, looking to try and get themselves a fight. Justice Punch coming forward as Lahens moving very quickly with those Moby Boots. The flash to get out of the way there of the headbutt pulverize from Kellen, and now he's a little bit too far forward. Trouble Bubble lands. That's a big taunt, but it's only onto one as Chovy does follow his paddle star through. Multiple flashes are going to be used here as Chovy picks up even another one, and now Sword with that teleport from Tana is going to get so much free time on this inner turret on the top side. Doesn't quite have the wave. So it's not as bad for Jin Air as it could have been. Root's going to pick up that Void Seeker, and the back is going to get stopped regardless. Here from Tana. That was a counterfeit flash, guys.
It was not, yeah, not the real one. Sword also going to be able to pick up the red buff. Infernal Drake will be the next dragon spawning here in 4 minutes.
Yeah, we've got some good ones. Earth, Wind, and Fire in order. That's brilliant.
You like that?
Yeah.
They planned that?
I hope so. I certainly remember the 21st of September. Kellen just trying to salvage this lane as best they can. It's looking real difficult here for these guys. In the lane that was supposed to be doing well, especially off the back of the Lucian. And Root, I mean, he's been fine. It's been Kellen getting caught out of position over and over again. It has led to this disaster. Hasn't led to much of a CS advantage, but Kaiser just in general has a scaling advantage and now has the first evolution already online with the Pickaxe, Doran's Blade, and Stormrazor. Seas comes down. Hex Flash to get Kellen in here. As Void Seeker seeks and does well.
Ends up spawning out and foiling the attempts of Jin Air. And now, if you're Jin Air Green Wings, and you're thinking to yourself, well, what do we actually do? We are still ways away from completing our first core item on the Lissandra, and then moving into the second core item.
I know what you do. In 2 minutes, you realm warp into the Baron Pit.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Without the Mountain Drake?
Yeah.
And you just flip it.
You just cross your fingers.
Okay.
And hope.
Yeah, I'm going to give that about a 5% chance of working.
It's probably better than their chance of winning.
It probably is, yeah.
I mean, sometimes you look at odds, and if you're not given anything better, 5% starting to look real nice.
Stage of the game, I mean, they're even in the CS department, for the most part, across most of the lanes, with the one exception being the jungle. But it's mostly the turret and the kills that are in favor of Griffin.
Yeah, it feels like also momentum is in favor of Griffin. Gold lead is gigantic, and 5,000 here at 19 minutes into the game. It's not a lot of turret plates that went down, apart from the top side of the map. That's exactly where you want them to be going down. As you can see, there's a lot of players with some bounties on their head, one of them being Lehens, who picked up both of the kills for himself earlier on. Viper did manage to secure one.
That's a lot of turret damage.
Yeah, this is dead. It's just straight up dead. Sword does so much damage to the turrets. And to Lyssandra's, apparently. Half the health bar with an empowered shock blast. That's real scary. His Root's going to relentlessly pursue over the wall. He's pursuing towards out of this game, though.
Yeah.
Not actually towards his opponents, which is not what you really want to see. With that button, Tana coming down to try and affect some change here.
I think that they're just going to try to all in. Down in bottom lane, Tana probably going to use a Realm Warp with the Jarvan. Teleport on Grace. They're going to try to go for a 5-man, but Sword.
Oh, that ward is getting so much value. Spot C's come down. We'll see whether it actually spots out.
Yeah, he doesn't end up doing
as well. Well, Root's at least getting some free time here on the bottom side of the map. Griffin have decided that it's topside vision that they want to get themselves, as Tarzan should be able to clear out this chicken camp. He knew that Grace was here, but he was happy to go toe-to-toe. He's got a Kindle Gem as well as his Warrior Enchant, and he's not too worried about Grace at this stage. He even uses the Pre-Seeker to get rid of the last popcorn chicken, which ain't bad, and the Baron's being started. I mentioned that this is something that Jin Air could have done, but it's something that Griffin have decided to already do. 3,000 health, there is no C's available. He's between turrets on Griffin's side of the map. As Grace is trying to be a hero, but Viper just kills him. The Baron's going to go down as well, and at 20 minutes and 30 seconds, Griffin now have the Baron. C's finally turns up. He decides just to throw himself headlong into the Griffin squad, and now they're just trying to get whichever kills they can. Tarzan's going to burrow away. It is going to be the sacrificial lamb, being the gargoyle, but Chovy does find himself the trouble bubble, and Jin Air can't get any more punishment.
Viper, meanwhile, was shoving the mid-minion wave in as Infernal Drake has spawned. A little bit confusing that Jin Air elected to try to get some kills in front of the Baron instead of just turning their attention to the Infernal.
Yep, sometimes you got to cut your losses, but it's not what Jin Air decided to do. Look at where C's is. He was backing in the enemy jungle behind the red buff.
Yeah, he was definitely going for the long conflict. Grace goes in and tries to pick up a kill onto Sword. And then at this point, they get to the Baron. They see Chovy, they jump on top of him. And then at that point, C's ends up making it out. They pick up the kill onto Lehens. And then immediately, you would think that maybe all of them could start trying to run to the Infernal. Perhaps they thought that they just wouldn't be able to go there, and Chovy would just be able to pick off the Stranglers.
Earth, Wind, and Fire has been now picked up by Griffin. That was just a solo for 5.
Here's Shelly. She's on Griffin's team.
Yeah?
Down there with Viper.
Hanging out.
Yeah.
He's duo laning. Not bad. Grace. Not going to get found by the Prey Seeker.
I'm really not sure. He's going places with these positions.
Yeah.
He's waiting.
Secret agent. I remember that one auspicious game. No, I was thinking of Horn and his talent.
Oh, okay.
Where he was prioritizing killing control wards instead of enemy teams. Which was slightly suboptimal. Shelly is going to just charge her way up this map. Eventually goes down as Grace secures that auto on her eyeball. Griffin still get a turret and a half. As our Hero's Entrance comes in, Griffin looking to turn this one around. And what did I tell you earlier on, guys? Hero's Entrance pretty damn good at getting disengages secured. That's going to buy even more space. 1-3-1 feels like it's being enacted with Viper. As one of the side laners, he's got a Zeal as well as his first 2 items completed. Does have the Supercharger also evolved. His Root just goes straight into that Battlestar. That did a lot of damage, but sees. Looking to try and take down Lehens. Justice Punch. Doesn't get him to safety necessarily as Jin Air going for the wraparound play. He's still very, very low. Viper's taking down a turret. Sword's also on inhibitor turret. C's going to go back in. That's just insane. Yeah, the Void Rush is going to come through as well, and Root is going to be the one that suffers at the hands of it.
Though.
Yeah, he's doing what he can. He's going to be able to take down at least an inhibitor. The Gargoyle is going to bite the dust once again, but look at where Chovy is on this map. He's on the other side has the opportunity to get that flash. Does dive on over, flashes back in
Nobody's
there
dead.
as well. And yep, that's going to be the red buff that secures it that Tana had picked up from one of these kills. Inhibitor's already gone down though. The damage has been done here as Griffin. They were just happy to keep Jin Air busy.
Oh man, Realm Warp actually coming in. I don't think that Sword's going to be able to make it out.
Yep, that was an optimistic, empowered recall there as Tana. Aftershock is going to wear off. That was the time where a fight could have ensued, but there was a cow. And that means that Tana's going to be able to grab that kill. Can he be the savior that Jin Air needs in this late game?
What an extremely sloppy fight. There's no business Chovy or Lehens had being in this mid lane without any Baron minion wave in close proximity. Viper and Tarzan were shoving on the right-hand side, and you can see how scrappy this fight ends up being. It almost looked like Tarzan was going to go down. Root holding on to his flash a little bit longer than he needed to, gave Viper the time to come in, and Tarzan able to get his ultimate off. Meanwhile, Sword was just looking to end the game, and right here, as long as Chovy and Viper could have just stalled for more time, it would have potentially enabled Jace to at least get a Nexus turret, but instead Chovy goes down in the end. He ends up looking like the thing from Resident Evil, the movie.
Oh,
You know
yeah?
what I'm talking about the red image of the little girl.
Oh, yeah,
That's what the Lissandra passive looks like on Zoe.
It does. What was her name? I don't remember what her name was. Was it like
Is it Alice?
Alice? That's it.
Or is that the name of the
No, it's Alice.
protagonist? Is it Alice? Okay.
You're making me doubt it, but I'm pretty sure it's Alice.
Okay.
Let me, I'll check Twitch chat real quick.
Okay.
See whether they know. It's got a little. It's Alice. It's Alice.
Okay.
Nailed it. Thanks very much, guys. I wasn't entirely sure. Okay. Griffin still have a pretty gigantic lead. It is close to 7.2k as the back from Kellen was confusing the heck out of me with his SKT skin. Shout out to Wolf.
Jin Air are just trying their best to hang on right now. The Mountain Drake coming up though. We'll see if they're going to end up trying to contest it. They do have a lot of item completions, but they're also so close to a few other ones. Whereas on the side of Griffin, they're all completed.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are completed on the side of Griffin, and not a lot there for Jin Air. Mountain Drake has spawned onto this map. Jin Air thought that they might be able to take it. They were wrong. Ward's going to get cleared out. Good one behind the pit here. Is not. But Griffin's still going to be able to grab this one very much for free. Super minions moving towards the top side of the map, creating all of that pressure. Rapid fire cannon is done here for Viper, just going for the extra range, more single target for the Kai'Sa, trying to keep herself as safe as possible. Quicksilver Sash is done as well, just in case Tana does get on top of him. Grace as well does have a lot of ability to lock down the Kai'Sa if she's in trouble. QSS ult going to be pretty useful, getting the heck out of dodge. Stop backing, Kellen, it's confusing.
C's back on a secret agent mission.
Yeah, I feel like we're in the LPL, you know, where they're like always chanting. What's happening this time is Trouble Bubble lands onto the Crimson Brambleback, and it will just get eviscerated by Tarzan.
Yeah, double mountain right now.
Secret Agent sees again.
Yeah, he's where he needs to be right now. Alex, you need to leave him alone.
He's going for lowest APM.
He's idle
LCK.
right now. He's AFK.
I wish
Hold on,
that
let me
we
turn
tracked
around.
APM.
I gotta check his.
Is he still there?
Is
he still there? Right now we're watching the Baron get started.
He's looking around the map. He's not actually looking at his own screen.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, he's watching the Baron right now.
Yep.
The Baron area. Here he goes.
We're watching the Baron as well. And sees, he popped his sweeper and moved towards Blast Cone initiation range.
This is the spookiest Jarvan I've ever seen.
Yep. Well, he's going to walk over a ward now, and Griffin know that they've been routed. There's the Cataclysm. The Flag and Drag comes in. Tarzan's taken down. The jungler is now dead. Secret Agent sees, he strikes, and he gets a goal.
And this is a really weird predicament, but with the advantage that Griffin has, the 4 members, as long as they maintain a phalanx, I mean, they should be more than capable of actually pushing on
Yeah, the problem is
4v5.
any Shock Blast or any Paddle Star that lands is going to do so much damage, as you saw right there. So Jin still have to pay so much respect. 4v5 or no, it doesn't matter.
It's so perplexing how Griffin are so willing to charge at them 4v5, but not 5v5.
No, it's the revenge. It's the revenge thing.
They're very practiced in solo
Yeah.
queue.
You know?
4v5, very common thing there.
Like, you know how you watch a movie and always the protagonist there needs to be
Yeah.
something that goes wrong first, you know?
Yeah.
And then they react. And that's how Griffin are playing this one out. So you gotta fit the script. Personalities need to work out. It's not exactly the greatest sporting game of League of Legends though. Gotta get on that front foot, start taking people down. Now Tarzan finds his way back onto the Rift. Agatha lasts for a long time, but she is eventually taken down. And now Kellen is clearing out some tunnels, trying to get some theoretical control of this Baron pit. As Tarzan jumps on over, tunnels on back.
This is really concerning to me, though.
Oh no, Secret Agent sees he's back at
Secret Agent sees is back on a mission. But what's concerning is that Griffin, with such enormous gold leads and dragon advantages, are struggling to close out against Jin Air here in this game number 2, especially with so many things that went their way that were nail biters.
Yeah, exactly.
In the early and mid stages of the game. It's definitely looking a little bit shaky.
But looking at how they're comp team fights, it's not necessarily that surprising, as Hero's entrance going to be interrupted very easily, and Lahen's, not a lot of options there, but now look at this. Great knock up there onto C's, takes a lot of damage, does make his way out. Grace now trying to do the same thing. The tower's going to get in there as well as Root. A lot of damage there with the culling as Griffin trying to skip around this fight. Tana gets flashed on, goes into stasis, but he will die. It's not going to be the Void Rush. That was avoided, but you can't avoid everything.
And now with
Tana going to be enough.
Going down, you have to wonder, is Griffin going to try the Baron? No, instead, they want to path up about 1,000 range randomly through the mid lane. Now they've turned their attention to the Baron.
Or have they? This looks like a Raptor camp.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Well, they're just taking it easy, playing it safe. And look, if you were at a public swimming pool, that would definitely be the way to do it. You know, you got to play it safe. You don't want to run next to the pool, things like that. However, in this particular game of League of Legends, maybe a more aggressive approach would be a good idea, and Viper's going to listen to me. Maybe to his detriment.
Caesar's asleep.
Yeah, Trouble Bubble is going to land. Paddlestar is not, however, and Tarzan's now trying to fight him out of this one. Inhibitor does eventually fall in that mid lane, and Griffin looks like maybe we're heading towards the Baron. Not very interested in making too many overly proactive plays here at this stage of the game.
They've been on the map for a very long time, though, so I'm assuming that they're pooling a lot of gold.
That's true. Maybe a reset needs to come in.
Yep. What?
No, it's just, why are we going for a reset now? Now we give all the vision back over to Jenner, and they can go for some sort of YOLO play.
So the whole thing about this and why I'm complaining about the massive gold lead, the Dragons, and how shaky Griffin is looking is because it comes full circle back into what happens when Griffin meets the new and improved Kingzone and SK Telecom, because
we saw what happened against Kingzone. You lose the game.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
If Griffin were playing like this throughout 2019, I don't think they would have ended first.
Nope.
This is definitely not looking like the Griffin that we've come to know throughout the 2019 Spring Split, and they've looked a little shaky in the last few weeks, and it's continuing here tonight.
The thing that I find really interesting is the question of whether or not it's Griffin slumping or the other teams just figuring out how their rosters work together. Because remember, Griffin didn't actually change anything.
Yeah.
The sum of their parts was definitely the same. A lot of their players did get better over the offseason because they didn't go to Worlds. They were able to spend so much time scrimming a lot of Worlds contentious teams. We had a lot of information about the fact that they were doing very, very well in said scrims. However, now we're at a point where this new and improved Dream Team SKT squad have developed a lot of synergy. Kingzone fitting into that one as well, even though they've got a lot of players that have played together in the past. Working out how you work as a 5-man unit is certainly relevant, as here he is once again. Cataclysm immediately jumps on forward, doesn't get the knock-up though. Redemption going to come in. Hero's Entrance comes down to keep Chovy alive. Secret Agent, he botched that one almost completely. Tarzan coming down here. Lahen still looking
Sword going for a front door.
Yep, he's going to be taking down Nexus turrets. There's the Realm Warp. Tana is able to get himself over. Base gate is going to be taken, but look at this. Nexus turrets are dead, and Sword's just going to try and get his way around this one. He wants back-to-back MVPs. Can he actually get the autos in here is the question. Looks like 4 members of Jinnet will be enough, but only just. As now Tarzan wants to try and find it. Everyone has to collapse as Viper. He finds someone CC'd, and he takes down the Nexus.
I'm so glad that we just get to see that yesterday. I was talking with Valdez about